Okay, hello again. Well, as you can probably see, I added a few more things here, and I'll show you what I've done in the meantime, which you'll see. I'll turn the sound down a little bit so it's not deafeningly loud, but you should be able to notice pretty quickly here. Take this guy out. Come on, yeah. See, there you go. He actually shoots me now. Take him out. And I also added another weapon here. It makes a shotgun sound effect, but yeah. Although it's kind of messed up though. If I turn this way, it works. But if I go this way, it shoots them sideways. I don't know why that is. Okay, let me show you what's going on behind the scenes now. So let me show you the Cacodemon behavior. Which is where we are going to start. Oh, well, first of all, let me just say, if you notice, I added two objects here. I added something called Projectile, and then this one called Explosion, and they both have their own specialized scripts. So this one has Explosion with an ID. This one has a Projectile script with a bunch of other stuff. Okay, so it looks like this is open. Oh, by the way, I'm using Visual Studio now. It's a little bit better. At least it's kind of specialized for C#. But anyway, I added another state here for the Cacodemon for shooting. So if it is shooting, it'll play the shooting animation, of course. And when that animation is finished, as you can see here, I don't know if I showed this. I have something called is animation finished, and it just returns true or false whether the animation is on the last frame or not. But once it's finished, I create a new instance of this projectile object here, and I give it some values here. Now you'll notice I'm using this function called spawn. The way I was doing this before was, let me just open projectiles here. Oh, I need to zoom in, right? Okay. What I was doing before is, you notice down here, the way I do this is I create a new game object. I instantiate the game object that already exists. I set the position and I set the ID and the rotation, speed, and everything right here. What I would do before is I would put this code, I would actually just put this all right here. Like right here in front of this. And so it would just have to go through all that code every time it shot. But I actually decided I wanted to fix that, and so for this object I created a function called spawn that just takes in all of the necessary variables I would use, and I threw them in here. Simple as that. So now every time I want to spawn a new projectile, no matter what it is, I would just call this spawn function here on the kind of like the original object. One problem I run into though is that if I delete the original object, I can't copy it anymore. So I mean, I don't know how I'm supposed to just have him shoot fireballs and stuff without this here. I don't know if like in the final game I'm gonna have to like throw these in a corner somewhere and just kind of hide them away from the player. And just I don't know how that works in here. Maybe I'm just doing it the wrong way. Maybe you're not supposed to do it this way. But that's just how I have it set up. So, moving on, I'll go over this file here, projectile. So I get the sprite animator. It has a sprite animator with it. I load the animations, I have three right now. I have the Cacodemon Fireball, I have the Rocket, and I have the green, like, Baron Fireball, which you didn't actually see, but I have it in here. So once I load the animations and just make sure they're all loaded, then I check and see if it's an actual clone or not. If it is a clone, then that means just don't do anything. Just leave it alone. And I only do this because I don't want the original projectile to disappear, because I need it to copy it unless I can find something else to do. That's why this code is here. Let's just check if the name contains clone, which if it does, that means it's a copy of a projectile, which means it's a real projectile. So once it goes that, it gets what I call the PID, or projectile ID, and this just determines what kind of projectile it is. So PID 0 is the Cacodemon Fireball. PID 1 is the Rocket, which I got here. So once I have that, I of course play this animation for the Cacodemon Fireball. I take the, what do I do here? Oh, this target thing is just to show which direction it goes, because I was trying to do it a different way, but it didn't work. So anyway, I get this target, which is just the position plus the rotation, and then I do transform. I do move towards. Basically what I do is I'm kind of like holding a carrot in front of it and having it go forward. Like, what this does is it puts a point directly in front of the fireball, whichever it's facing, and then say move towards that point, and that point is always going to be like right in front of it. That's just how I ended up getting it to move in the direction I wanted it to. I tried doing it other ways and it didn't work. Then I have this function here. This function is like a built-in Unity function apparently, called onCollisionEnter, and this calls whenever it hits anything. So what I do is I check and see, is it a clone, and is the object it's hitting not the shooter? Because if it hits what I call the shooter, which is the enemy that shot it, or the player if the player shot it, then don't blow up. But if it's hitting something else that didn't shoot it, then yes, blow up. That's what I'm checking for here. And then I just say, yeah. And then I say if PID equals 0, which means if it's the Cacodemon ball, then spawn the explosion. I have an explosion object, which I'll get to in a bit. Or if it's PID 1, then it's a rocket blowing up. And then destroy the projectile. And then later on, what the hell's going on TV right now? Okay, whatever. Later on, I'll have to add code to say, like, if it's hitting an enemy, then hurt the enemy. If it's hitting the player, then hurt the player, etc., etc. But I don't have that right now. But anyway, let me show you the explosion. The explosion one is a lot simpler. Why does it always show me that? So anyway, this is the explosion. It's a little bit similar to the projectile, but it's actually, it's closer to the spark, the way I did the spark. But anyway, I use a sprite animator, load animations. I have 3 here. This is the Cacodemon Fireball explosion. I call it Fire Blow. I couldn't think of a better name. I have just explosion down here, which is just like the rocket explosion, and blue flash, which is kind of like the plasma gun, like poof that you hit when you shoot the plasma gun and it hits a wall or something. So anyway, after I do that, I check if it's a copy, of course, and then I have the 2 IDs. Here I say EID, which is explosion ID, and I just say, if the EID is 0, which means Cacodemon ball, play the fire blow animation, and then if that animation, or once that animation's finished, then just destroy the object. Same thing for here. This is the rocket explosion. Play the animation. If it's finished, then destroy the object. And yeah, Yeah. And as for as for the projectiles, the way, well, I'm a little hesitant to show you because it's not working right now. But the way I'm doing the whole, like, the direction of the rocket thing, as you can see down here, I have the angle. I take in a vector 3 rotation. Maybe the problem is that this should be a quaternion. Quaternion. I don't really understand what all that is, but the other things use quaternions, but this is vector 3. Maybe that's the problem. Anyway, I pull in the rotation, and then I use this calculation here to get the angle, which is pretty much exactly the same way I did it in the other enemies. Anyway, I come up here and I just get direction string and put in the angle. And of course the player's rotation. Just so I can show which direction it's facing, but it's not working right at the moment. So it's kind of pointless to show you right now. But other than that, I also used, I can show you the new rocket I added. So weapon ID 4. ID 4 is the rocket, and the code here is just a copy of the shotgun code. Although I don't think I showed you that, but anyway. It even has the shotgun sound still in here. But it does the same way I did the other weapons. The only difference is instead of calling the function shoot bullet, I have shoot rocket. And rocket down here, yeah, shoot rocket, all it does is it calls the spawn function on projectile, uses the player's position, and I add 0.5y just to make it, put it in front of the camera. Otherwise it'll like spawn too low and it'll look strange. It'll look like you're firing it out of your crotch or something. It looked weird. Set the rotation to the direction of the camera. I can't do it for the direction of the actual player because it wouldn't fire in the right direction. This is the speed, so 25 speed, and then this is the shooter, the object that shot it. In this case, it's the player. So what this says is it says the player is shooting this object, so don't collide with the player. So that's what that's for. And then of course, I guess I'll just show again, the final result is I now have die. It's really satisfying shooting that guy. As you can see, he now shoots these fireballs at me every now and then. No sound effects right now. And then I can shoot rockets at him that don't do anything. Oh, the fireballs collide with each other. Look, I can shoot his fireball with a rocket and blow each other up. But that's something I know what the problem is there. I can fix that easily. Here, take him out. Okay. Let's knock the bike over. I think I can. There we go. Yes, you can knock the bike over with the rocket. All right. That's all for now. What should I work on next? I think next. Look at this. I think next. What can I do next? Shit. Well, I guess I could fix the rockets, or I could make the explosions like hurt you. Because right now the explosions don't do anything. Maybe I'll work on that next. But until then, that's all I got to show you right now. So later.